Hi, if you like the video, please remember to subscribe. Hi, I'm Rob from robandphoto.com, and in today's video we're going to be looking at the new laptop that I keep talking about on the podcast in the video, which is my Acer E1-571 laptop that I got just before Christmas. Now, there's quite a few different versions of the E1-571. So my one is the i5 version with what's it got? The 15.6-inch widescreen screen, the 4 gigabytes of DDR3 memory, and the 750 gigabyte HD hard drive. So yeah, because I know when I've been looking for other reviews of this particular laptop, there's lots of different things. If you search for E1-571, there's lots of different specs out there, I guess, as you'd expect from laptops, because they do change really quickly. I got this one from PC World, which is a British retailer, just before Christmas. To be honest, unlike what I would normally do, I didn't really do any research at all. I had a budget of about £400, and me and Suzanne had been out for the day looking at going in various computer shops looking at laptops, and I wasn't even really thinking about getting one on that particular time. I thought I might get one after Christmas in the sales or something, but she was quite adamant the fact that my old laptop had it, and I should really get one. You know, I've been using Oliver's old laptop, that's our son, for the last couple of years, and he'd had it for probably 2 or 3 years before that, and it was second-hand when he bought it. You know, and it was running XP, and it had a tendency to, we probably heard this on the podcast, a tendency to turn itself off. It would overheat really fast, even though I'd taken it apart, sucked all the dust out and everything like that. In the end, if I was rendering video, I had to kind of stand it up on film canister tubes to get enough air underneath it to stop it overheating. So I needed to replace it. So we went out, we were looking at different things, looking at different laptops. To be honest, I got really confused because there's so many different options. I think even at the £400 price point, we were in Currys and PC World, and they probably had 10 different laptops that were around about £400, and I couldn't really, what was the difference? And the staff were okay, but they weren't that great. But funny, there was one young lad who said, well, what do you do a lot of that would tax the computer? And I guess with me, it's video rendering. I guess is probably the most challenging thing I do. Where I shoot these videos and then I have to do a little bit of editing. I mean, I don't do that much. And then the laptop then has to render it, has to change it to a format that's suitable for uploading to YouTube. And my old Acer, Oliver's old second-hand laptop, would literally take hours to render 640 by 480 video. So the kid said, well, look, go for the one with the best processor. So that's why I went for the E1-571, because it was the only one round about £400 that had the Intel Core i5 processor that has something called Turbo Boost, apparently, where it kicks up to 3.2 gigahertz. Take that as what it will, but just remember that I'm not an expert on laptop reviews. This is the one I'm using. It's not like I get to use lots of different ones, but I'm really going to really like the E1-571. It's a really basic laptop. Doesn't have any bells and whistles, but it gets the job done. It's been very reliable. It hasn't crashed. It's fast enough for what I do, and and the screen's okay as well. So technical stuff to start off with. This particular version has got 4 gigabytes of RAM. It's got the 750 gigabyte hard drive, as I said before. It's got the 15.6-inch screen, built-in webcam and microphone. It's got a DVD rewriter on the side, Wi-Fi obviously, 6-cell battery, which it reckons you can get about 3.5 hours out of. I haven't done any really hard tests on the battery, but it seems fine. I basically use it at home mostly, but not always plugged in. Maybe if you're watching telly upstairs in the bedroom, I'll have it off. It's got a built-in SD card reader, 3 USB ports, HDMI port. It doesn't have any Bluetooth, which is quite unusual. That's why it's a real basic laptop, and doesn't have touch screen. I mean, with the Bluetooth though, what I did do was I do have a little Bluetooth dongle that you can just plug in, and that works fine. It runs Windows 8 64-bit out of the box. Now it's been updated to Windows 8.1. And it's fair to say that Windows 8 is with the Metro bit of it. You know, this. Can I get it out? Oh, I don't know. The non-desktop side is I find it pretty much unusable. It's probably great on a touchscreen laptop. It's probably great on a tablet and things like that. But for an ordinary laptop that isn't touchscreen, you know, your ordinary desktop, you know, exactly the same as it would have been on Windows XP or Windows 7 or Vista, I guess, you know, is great. So as far as usability is concerned of Windows 8, what you really have to do is download a program called Classic Shell, and that brings back your start icon, and it brings back ordinary menus, and you can now boot to it as well. So it basically acts like Windows 7, and you don't have to see, you know, the Metro side of it with all the big boxes and the big apps. You will occasionally be sucked into it because you'll do a swipe command on the touchpad, which will just automatically take you into it, which is a real pain in the arse, to be quite frank. But apart from that, Windows 8 is fine as long as you mod it with Classic Shell. The screen is nice and bright, not too much glare. The keyboard's nice. The unit itself isn't too heavy. Doesn't run too hot, and you know, it lasts long enough on a full charge for me. The SD card slot at the front, it's a bit tricky to use. That it can be. Sometimes I get a bit nervous putting my 32GB SD card in there, because you've really got to kind of, it's really spring loaded to get the cover out. There's a little cover, and then you put SD card in, and it's kind of hidden underneath the lip. So sometimes you've got to have a good look at it, and you can really fire your SD card out if you're not careful. The webcam is advertised as a HD webcam, but it's pretty mediocre. Having a built-in webcam was something I was looking forward to when I got this laptop, because my old laptop didn't have one. The quality is a bit mushy, especially in poor light. It's okay in bright light, but in poor light it's not very good at all. So I've replaced mine. I have a Logitech C920, which I got from Amazon, which is a HD webcam, which is amazing quality, which is really, really good. Now, the other thing that I did that I should have mentioned as well is it comes with a lot of pre-installed software, or bloatware I would suggest. It's probably called, from Acer, and I stripped everything out that I didn't want to use. It's all stripped out, and I installed Classic Shell, as I said, and I'm really strict with what I install on my laptops. You know, pretty much I use Google Chrome for doing the web, doing Gmail, calendar tasks. I use Picasa for basic photo editing. I use Photoshop CS3, I think, for heavy editing. I use Windows Movie Maker for editing and rendering my videos. I use Foxic Reader for my PDFs. I use Audacity to create podcasts. The Flickr uploader, and everything is really, really snappy and smooth. But one of the really nice things about Windows 8 is every now and again it actually asks you if you want to disable things on startup, and it'll take you to the right bit. And I'm very careful. I won't install anything that I don't think I'm really going to use. It doesn't get installed on the laptop, because pretty much if you do start doing that, you know, kiss goodbye, performance goes right down, and then you'd have to recover it and start again. As I said, I'm not a power user. I don't play games, but I do edit quite a few photos, and the Acer E1-571 handles them really good. I've moved from my 350D up to the 600D, which I'm recording this video on, and it creates sort of 7MB files, raw files, and the laptop handles them fine. About the most demanding thing I do is rendering video, and that was something I was really looking forward to, having a stable platform to render video, and using Windows Movie Maker, which I know probably the pros out there, you're going, oh god, but you know, I think it works. For what I do, it's fine. It's nice and simple and quite fast. I can render a 1080p video recorded on something like the 600D, so they're big files, say a 17-minute video in about 15 minutes, which I think is pretty damn good, and you can be doing other things at the same time, and it doesn't crash or overheat or anything like that. So that's really good. One thing to watch out for, and if you know this already, you'll probably think I'm a bit of a dunce, but what I didn't realise was there's different sort of performance modes of Windows laptops depending on what you're doing with them. So for example, when it's on battery power, it will often be on a performance mode called battery saver, I think it is, or power saver, or balanced. And what I didn't realise was that you could change it so that instead of being on balance, so there's a balance between using lots of battery power and performance, you can switch it to something called high performance. So for about 2 months I was using the laptop, even when it was plugged into the power supply, on its balanced or power saver option, so I wasn't getting the full performance out of it. Needless to say, now I've realised that, and whenever it's plugged into the mains power, I have on high performance, and it's even snappier as well. I've done a couple of benchmark scores for people out there who are interested. It gets a Windows Experience score of 4.8, which is pretty low, and that was done using WEI, which is kind of on Windows 8.1. Windows Experience score disappeared, but with WEI you can get it back again. And that's mainly because of the graphical performance of the graphics hardware in it. But I don't do any games, so that doesn't really affect me, and all I can really say is it's great for watching videos on the screen, but also many a time I've been working on the laptop and I have a HDMI lead that I run off to our big widescreen telly, and it's fine rendering the 1080p video from Netflix or from my hard drive, and that runs fine, and it doesn't overheat, and it works cool. It got a PC Mark score of 2007, which I think is fairly low. It's in the low sort of quarterage is, but all I can really say is go off real world experience, and my real world experience of what I do. It works fine for what I do. So in conclusion, the E1-571 is a solid basic laptop. It doesn't have the bells and whistles of more expensive models, but does everything I need to do, which is basically surfing the web, writing web posts, editing photos, and rendering video, which it does really reliably and quickly. I'm looking forward to swapping out the 4 GB of RAM for 8 GB, probably going to ask for some RAM for my birthday, to see how the performance improves that way. But I guess I'm really happy. I mean, in the last couple of months I've probably produced more video content easily using this laptop and the Logitech webcam and things like the 600D than I have in the past year with my old laptop, and it was always a pain because everything was so unreliable. But this has been rock solid. I've had no problems with the build quality, reliability, the display, or the speed of it. So I'm pretty happy, even though I didn't do much research and kind of bought it just on a bit of a whim. It seems to be doing very well. So what we'll do now is we'll move the camera around so you can take a closer look at the laptop, and I'll turn it on, and maybe we'll do a bit of browsing the web and playing some video as well. Okay, so my name's Rob from robnofair.com, and remember you can email me scalespeed@gmail.com. Let's have a closer look. Okay, so this is the Acer E571 laptop. Let me just unplug it just so you can see it properly. So we've got a nice black case, Acer on the back. On the left hand side we've got a power button, we've got a network cable, there's an old VGA output, HDMI, USB, and then we've got a microphone and headsets for analog. We've got our SD card slot on the front, and then on the other side we've got our 2 more USB slots, and then I'll press the button and nothing's going to happen. We've got our DVD rewriter just on there, and there's a little locking thing on there as well. Not too bad, not too heavy. I'm quite picky about my laptops and looking after them. Well, I say laptops, this is the first new one I've had in an awful long time. But basically this little beast lives in a dust-proof bag, in a laptop bag that I keep in my wardrobe when I'm not using it. So it's very nice indeed. So it's going to be on battery power now. So let's just press the power button, let it flash up, and you can give you an idea of. It's just in sleep mode. I literally just turned the case, but as you can see, it's come up straight away. I'll put my password in. So let's just do something so you can't see my password when I'm putting it in, because that would be just a bit embarrassing, wouldn't it, if we shared that with the world. Not that it really matters on my laptop, but you know, there we go. So, bunk, we're in. It really is quite fast. Obviously, that was just waking up from sleep, but it's pretty damn fast, even when it's had a full shutdown as well. So, what did we say we were going to have a look at? So we've seen turning it on. I don't know, should we do some web browsing then? Now, what you've got to remember is that we use Virgin broadband here, which is a cable provider in the UK. So it's oh, Bob Crow's died. Oh. So it's pretty, you know, it's quite a snappy internet connection anyway, and so everything kind of moves along very quickly, you know. So for example, if I go to let's go to YouTube, see what's on the front page of YouTube, what they recommended for me. It's amazing, it's absolutely amazing, all this stuff. Let's have a look. Peter Hurley, I don't know, let's have a look at Jared Poland. He's always good for a laugh, isn't he? So we can pretty much, you know, go full screen straight away. Oh, we've got a bit of an ad. Let's get rid of this ad. We don't want to watch the ad, do we? Let's turn the sound up. And let's go to 720. Yeah, and it handles everything fine. You see, it just flipped over to 720 there. And what I've found as well is the laptop has absolutely no problem in handling you doing something on the laptop while using the HDMI lead to run a TV as well. So let's now go over to, let's shut that down, let's go over to Netflix. Should we actually put a little bit of something on just so you can see how well it handles Netflix? Oh, how about Battlestar Galactica? Okay, that's always good, isn't it? Let's see how fast Netflix is working today. It's funny, when you get really fast broadband like Virgin, you kind of start to notice that it's not always the broadband or your computer that's the problem. It's the servers at the other end. Oh, here we go. Right, we're firing up now. And let's go back to the beginning so you can. There we go, so you know it fires up all right. Looks nice, screen's nice and bright, works very well. I'll tell you what, I'll show you another couple of things actually. Let's shut down that. Let's fire up, show you how fast it fires up Photoshop. So if we go into pictures and just pick something random, what we got, I don't know, let's pick a picture of Valentino, and then let's come out of that, and let's just, oh, can we do an open with, can we? Open with, here we go, open with Photoshop CS3. If you've got an old laptop, you know how slow it is to open things up, but I just want to show how quickly the E1-571 can fire up Photoshop, which is known for being, you know, a horrendously big program. And often on my old laptop you had to fire up and wander away, make a cup of tea, and then come back. Where there we go. Give it a second or two, and we'll be right in, and we can be editing our photos right there. Now that is, for me, pretty amazing, the fact that you can do it that quick. If we were to fire up something like Picasso, that pretty much fires up really quick. You know, bang, we're in. You know, it's really good, isn't it? Really nice, really great. Yeah, love it. The Acer E1-571. Remember, this is the 4GB version with a 750GB hard drive and the Intel Core i5. 2.6 GHz with turbo boost up to 3.2 GHz processor. Yeah, I like it. It may be basic, doesn't have all the bells and whistles, but it's reliable, does what I want it to do, and yeah, I'm pretty pleased with it. My name's Rob from robnonfolk.com. Thanks for watching.